So I like 3 teasers. It's a good teaser week. Must-win game for the divisional lead. I could argue this is like their game of the year. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? The only person in our Friday football hour number 2 not to curse is the only 2-time champion back-to-back of the Hilton Super Contest. Is Steve Fezzik, everybody. He keeps it clean.
You know, the Reds announcer obviously ruined his career by getting caught on a hot mic.
He did.
And my best advice to someone, obviously, you don't want to get caught on a hot mic, but just never say something. Assume you're always on air. And then those bad habits or whatever inappropriate thoughts you may have will never pontificate themselves, right?
Oh, interesting. You were talking to me about this you were texting about this the other day. And my response to you was, I curse like a sailor all day long, but never once on the show because I'm able to compartmentalize the two things.
By the way, I thought you might curse with base winner on the Dodgers on an alternative bet, first 5.
Yes.
I find his lack of faith in the Padres disturbing.
Well, he did say that he would be a proponent of the first 5 Dodgers and then them to gack it with their bullpen and the Padres to actually win.
Let's live wager. Let's set our alarms.
That's a live wager. It's also, though, as he has pointed out with the White Sox this year, right? The Chicago White Sox, who were historically bad. By the way, they ended up losing 121 games exactly, right? Breaking the record of 120.
Crane Pool's amazing Mets feel bad. Are they going to do they pop champagne into those guys that are still alive like the Dolphins? Like we don't have the record anymore, right?
That's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah. We have a listener who's an employee of the White Sox. I won't say his name because he won't want to know. But he comes by and he just tells us about it. Can't be a pleasant experience for 162 games to lose 121. That's almost impossible. By the way, everything has to go against you,
or you have to play against the grade 8 of the Cincinnati Reds, then they'd all lose.
I saw your tweet.
120. Yes.
Yes. So we appreciate that you don't curse. I also appreciate that you come in here every week, and we didn't really plan this, but what has become a staple of your segments is you give us a look-ahead line that you like to exploit, and today is no different.
Let's do it right now. So we're going to do the Right Angle Sports, fantastic group. We're going to do a setup, and then we're going to go. All right? Don't bet this until I say go. And it's possible.
Because this could be a ruse?
It could be, because obviously, if anyone who hasn't followed Right Angle Sports, they say set up. So when set up Kansas State, and they either say go, they say cancel, or they say every now and then opposite. Okay?
We used to do this on the show with Michael Craig from Right Angle Sports. We never did opposite, though. It was either it's a bet or cancel.
Yes, but opposites in play. Opposite can happen. Okay. All right, so
you could be wasting our time the next 2 minutes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Possibly. It could be a cancel. Week 7.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. New York Jets under new management. Set up Jets. This is lines at DraftKings. Set up Jets +1 at Pittsburgh. So set it up. Jets +1 at Pittsburgh. Set it up. And in 3, 2, 1. Opposite. We are betting the Steelers.
Oh, man.
-1. Go to your sportsbook at DraftKings and lay the -1. Who are the Jets? Think about the Jets have been going through. They've just been on some other continent, all right? Somewhere on the flight back, their coach got fired, apparently. Now they have an all-in game for the divisional lead on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. And then they got to go to Pittsburgh Sunday, and that's when the shit hits the you-know-what.
Oh, my God, did that just happen? Go ahead. After we did the whole thing, and this guy acted like he doesn't do this often. Okay. Wow. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
I just saw Airplane the movie.
This guy.
And I'm thinking about... All right, there might not be a second segment if this continues.
This Football Friday thing.
Pittsburgh -1 is the bet. Week 7, not this week, Week 7.
Okay, Week 7 at Acrisure, you got the Steelers. And it is, by the way, it's still -1, laying the point.
Or you can lay the -118 on the money line. They're almost equivalent.
Equivalent.
I think the -1 is like decimal points better, -110.
Okay, -1, -110, just slightly better than the -118 money line on the Steelers. By the way, just one correction, because I know you were saying it flippantly, but Robert Saleh did get back on the flight, right? He did make it back to the U.S. He went to work all day Monday as if to prepare for the Monday night game against the Bills, pardon me. He came back into work Tuesday morning, got into his office, and that is when the owner, Woody Johnson, went into his office and told him, you're done.
Apparently with a full SWAT team to escort him out.
Escorted him out of the building.
You know, I got to say, this is a huge mistake that companies make because they're worried about someone stealing the secret files or whatever and, you know, cleaning out their desk. But if someone's worked at your organization and given them the best, give them the dignity to be able to walk out and say goodbye to coworkers, to be walked out by security. I just think it's a classless move, and many organizations and HR departments do that, but it's just wrong. The reason I say that is that for years and years, my father was a top executive, and then ultimately it didn't work out, and they actually walked him out. And
has it ever happened to you before?
It's never happened to me.
When I was in San Francisco, we were owned, when I worked at KMEL Jams, 106 KMEL Jams, by the way. We were owned by a mom and pop, and this is when it deregulated, right, in the 90s. And so we were owned by, I want to say AM, FM, and then it went to Chancellor, and then it went to Clear Channel. But so we were accumulating, not we, but the company that we were kept getting bought by, you know, inherently would have more and more stations under their umbrella. And so at one point, I went from KMEL to this other station, KISS, and like within 3 months, they knew, you should go back to KMEL. But they told me at KISS, you're done here. And I was like, is this where you walk me out of the building? And they almost sheepishly were like, no, you can walk out on your own. But it was like, that was the moment where they were going to, but I was like, are you really, like, is this really good? They're like, no, you're just
And you felt better about
they had
the departure, right?
It was
a little better.
Because they probably knew they were going to take me back at KMEL anyway. But there was a moment there where I think they probably considered it. And then when I kind of called them on it, they were like, what are we doing here? Like, just walk out on your own. But you're right. There is I can imagine, especially in the case of Robert Saleh, you're right. It's a dignity thing, right? Where it's like, really, let the guy walk out on us. So what is he going to do? Trash the place?
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, he actually went to work on Monday, and then Tuesday, they're like, get out of here. It's pretty amazing. And that also brings up the point of, if what didn't you like about him after 5 weeks that you couldn't have decided before the season started?
Clearly something happened in London with apparently the owner has lots of connections in London. Maybe there was a meeting that went bad with the boosters or the like.
Well, there's all kinds of theories, right? From Aaron Rodgers to other things, which I won't get into here. But anyway, the Jets are hardly the most team turmoil in the NFL. It's the Cleveland Browns, I think, who take that mantle.
Yeah.
In the Steve Fezzik power rankings, because I know you have these things, what would be the most surprising thing to the average listener right now that you have versus sort of market conventional wisdom?
You know, it's a great question because, and I'm sorry I don't have the fellow there, but they aggregate like 8 different people's power ratings, and Rufus Massey ratings are there, mine are there, and
who does that? You can't remember.
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I retweeted it. So if people go to @Fezzik Sports and they'll look at my tweets. And so what's interesting is I am, shocker, as the great aggregator.
You are the great aggregator.
I listen to everybody. All right. And so I'm not on an island very often at all. Like I don't have huge opinions. Like Kansas City's my number one team. Then Detroit, Baltimore. San Francisco will become number 2 after last night. Then Minnesota, Buffalo, Philly. I would say I'm higher in the Philly than right now than the market because, let's think about Philly. Here's a case where both wide receivers are injured. Lane Johnson gets injured. They've been scuffling. Coach has been called out. But they got all 11 guys healthy now in offense. And the funny thing is now they're playing Cleveland. So my total square ball play of the week is Philly's going to kill them. Let's tease Philly now before it goes to 10.
Right.
And we can't tease through the long numbers. So that would be my number one bet is to get at some Eagles teasers with the Jaguars in London, who've always played well in London, or with the Jets on Monday Night Football.
Where do you have the 3-time Super Bowl champion Washington taco holders? Where do you have that?
Washington's my number 10 team.
I like it.
Now. They're into the top 10.
Yeah, for us too. It's the first time ever I've had them in the top 10.
Washington's a fascinating team because I talk about how much do I weight priors, and Washington's anchor was just incorrect. We didn't know how good their quarterback was.
We didn't know.
Adjust fast.
A man shows up for work at 4 a.m., does his film, does his lifting.
Like Tom Cruise in The Firm.
Exactly like Tom Cruise in The Firm, Stevie. That's exactly right. More with Fezzik on the other side right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The NBA season is ready to tip off in 11 days. and the VSiN experts have been hard at work tracking the latest player moves to help you bet smarter. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today for as little as $9.99 for your first month. Get our all-new NBA betting guide featuring previews and power ratings on all 30 teams, best bets and futures from the VSiN experts, player prop and live betting strategies, plus senior NBA analyst JVT's favorite title bets, Zach Cohen, hugely involved in the betting guide as well, along with Adam Burke and Kelly Bidlin. Give yourself an edge this season. Get NBA Betting Guide along with access to all of our valuable betting tools across all sports for just $9.99 for your first month at vsin.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Gill Alexander, Fezzik standing by. Before that, though, tweets. We get them. Thank you to all of you for submitting your little comments. It's from Shades of Mako. Shades of Mako. Didn't we just read a Shades of Mako? Well, we get to today, Shades of Mako. From all the times that you've called out the cursing on ANG, it's actually gone right over my head. I guess I curse too much to notice. SoCal Fantasy. Oh, this is a good question. I'm going to save that for the last one. Hold on. Rhodes. What was the stat about rookie quarterbacks in England? I believe they're 0-6, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the against the spread margin is tremendous. So it's not just a case where they've lost by like a couple points on a last-second field goal. I mean, it's like a touchdown a game that they've underperformed. I think that goes all the way back to Minshew failing in London.
And we have a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams this week in London, England, to that point, against the Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Let's see here. Bobby Knuckles says the Fezzik campaign runs hot with the subtle Darth Vader quote regarding Borchard's lack of faith in the Padres. A+. Here's a question. Chris Heath. He's seeing a -1.5 on the Steelers on the look-ahead game that you were talking about. That was between the Steelers and the Jets. He's seeing a 1.5 at Bet Online. Is that not a bet? And then we have Kelly letting us know that at FanDuel, it's a -1.5, and the money line is -118. Now, you had previously told us that the -1, -110, the -1, -110 is slightly better than the -118. I assume it changes here?
Yes. So, by the way, if you only have access to a -1.5, that's fine. You can lay it up to -1.5. However, the -118 is superior and somewhat obvious because think about it. If a sportsbook let you buy a half point at -1.5, -110, and you could go to -1, -114. Well, that's cheap, 4 cents, absolutely. And then they said, hey, you can buy another half point for 4 cents more and get it -0.5 minus the 118. All right, I'll do that as well. I probably wouldn't buy the next half point onto this is the Joe Pita, they could tie. I mean, it's possible. By the way, if this is confusing at all, warning, danger, math. Go over to Unabated, Captain Jack, Rufus Peabody. These guys are awesome, and you could just punch in 2 bets, and they will spit out which one is indeed superior, all things being equal, based upon their database.
Jason H11, my virgin ears can't take all of this foul language. What the blank is wrong with you guys? And then Russell Ambrose says the last hour needs to be called Blankin' Football Friday. You're telling me. Now, here's a question, and this is a good follow-up to you were kind enough to come here during the preseason, and you had really strong thoughts about the new kickoff rule. You were like, the average starting field position will be the 27-point whatever yard line. You were like all about the point whatever. SoCal Fantasy says, has there been enough data now to check the numbers on your preseason theory of offensive starting position with the new rules?
Yeah, so I was wrong. But
wow.
I was right.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you rack that as Rome used to say, rack that? Just have Fezzik on a loop saying I was wrong.
You need to adjust, all right? And like the over-under, like last night, the number of touchbacks. How many touchbacks are there going to be? And it's 3.5. All right. I'm sorry. There's going to be 3.5 returns. The touchbacks are favored. There was supposed to be like 7 touchbacks. So what's going on? Why was Fezzik wrong? What I said was that teams are going to figure out that the optimal kickoff is that this ugly, corkscrewing, hard-to-catch ball that's going to land right around the baseline, similar to when I'm playing Gilly at tennis. And I'm sneaking in because I'm slow and I don't want him to drop shot me. And it's a ball that's looks like it's going to be in, but I can't be sure, and it might be out. Should I hit it? And like, oh, crap. And it hits off the frame and dribbles sideways, and Gill wins 21-8. And it's very hard to deal with the kickoff that's going to be right around the goal line. Now, what has happened is that famously a couple kickers have gotten hurt on returns.
Yeah.
And teams are like, it's not worth it. If the other team's going to get it on around the 28 anyways, even with the perfect kick, let's just kick it out of the end zone, not get anyone hurt, and we'll give up the 2 yards. Now, the smart teams are going ahead and doing the optimal kickoffs in close games at the very end of the game. And so we are seeing that on occasion. They'll fix this next year. The rule will be it'll come out to the 35. Then they'll kick to the 2-yard line. And then the average field position will be the 28.5.
This is what I said all offseason to you, Steve. As they make the touchback to the 35, that will change behavior. By the way, let's give a shout out to the guy who aggregates all the power rankings, Sam Hoppin.
Yes, just
Hoppin.
a fantastic job, and he color codes them
on
who, and you can see who's on an island, and I think and the Massey Peabody ratings, they're on Easter Island. They're by themselves in the Pacific Ocean compared to the other 7 guys. Yes,
yeah, Sam Hoppin, Hoppen. For those who are interested in, real quick before you get to your football thoughts, your bet this week. You wanted to mention something about weight loss? Was that what you wanted to say?
Yes, everybody's different. I know you've been losing weight. You're looking good. Let's start with you. How you doing it?
I eat the same thing every day.
The Wishnev.
That's exactly. It was inspired by Todd Wishnev. 1 bowl of Chipotle, burrito bowl, double chicken, nothing bad in there, right? Corn, mild salsa, maybe even a little sprinkle of cheese, but that's it, on white rice. 1 bowl of that, and then 2 salads with Todd's low-cal wishbone salad dressing, which tastes great and is like 35 calories or whatever.
You actually burn more calories digesting it than you absorb.
And then every once in a while I'll play tennis, but my tennis partners are always hurt. Fezzik.
I'm on the DL. Isn't it interesting how hurt I get when I start having bad results? All of a sudden.
Interesting. But that's how I do it. So if I do the same thing every day like that and do it sensibly, then I will lose weight, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
I have 2 methods. I have the stop-loss method where if I ever weigh myself and I see a number higher than 210, I can't eat for 24 hours. Emergency partners meeting, food has been rescinded until you get back below 210.
I love that you have an emergency partners meeting in your head.
The second thing, it seems more viable, if you hate diets and you hate having to do something every day, you only have to do this once a week. Once a week, you'll lose 20 pounds. I guarantee it. You need to skip lunch once a week and go work out instead.
Oh, once a year you lose 20 pounds.
Yes, you lose 20 pounds over the course of a year just doing this once. And also, if for those who haven't tried it, the first time you do this, come dinner time, you will have the best tasting. You can do your Chipotle. Yeah. You can do Arby's. That dinner is going to taste as good as Michael's when you haven't eaten all day long and you've gone to the gym.
So what do you do?
You don't eat lunch.
You don't eat lunch.
And you go to the gym instead. So instead of consuming 800 calories, you burn 700. So you basically are losing almost half a pound just in an hour and a half, basically.
Steve Fezzik, ladies and gentlemen, not only football, but life lessons. How to improve your health. I like that. All right, this week, you are doing something interesting this week.
Yeah, so I like 3 teasers. It's a good teaser week. So I love the Eagles. They're going to close at 10, but they're still 9 to 9.5. So you can play them. You need to get a 6.5 point teaser. You need to get them down to minus 2.5, and it's still available at some books. And I'll tease the Eagles, and I need dance partners with the Eagles.
You need dance partners.
Eagles are going to be with both teasers. I like the Jaguars. I like the fact my power rating says the line's about right against the Bears, but the fact that they're so used to London, and I like the spot also. So they got the routine down, and who wants to spend a week in London? If they lose and they go to 1-5 and their season's done, so I could argue this is like their game of the year. The Bears, drunk and happy after clobbering, the Red Rifle and company. I could see them doing a little sightseeing, seeing Big Ben, going on the eye or whatever it is, having some bangers. And so my handicap is I already like the Jaguars plus 1.5. Let's tease them up with the Eagles. I'm also going to tease the Eagles. Let's go to Monday night, must-win game for the divisional lead. The Jets should get the dead cat bounce after losing Salah. Everyone all in, so we'll use the Jets and teasers also.
Okay, but all anchored around the Eagles.
The Eagles are my favorite. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Well, we had this discussion on the Megapod with Rufus yesterday, which is, again, we on the Megapod, we had a great year last year with teasers, all 3 of us. We all suck this year. And it's because the Wong legs, particularly the favorite Wong legs, teasing from 7.5 and 8.5 down through the 7 and 3. And we know this by all the upsets, right? Of 5.5 point dogs.
They have a losing
greater.
record. Not against the spread, straight up.
Straight up.
Good luck winning a teaser with 2 of these suckers.
So obviously your Wongers are all going to lose. But you believe, because I asked this of Dr. Bob last week, and he cursed, he was so passionate about it. You believe this is all a short sample size, just outlier. This will all go back to normal.
Absolutely. And famously, like when we project like Survivor, by the way, I think my current projection is that we're going to have one winner sometime between week 18 and 19.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But like, I don't care that people are hitting below 50% with their Survivor picks. They're going to hit around 65% each and every week. You know, that in a year filled with parity, if there wasn't parity, it would be lower. So the Survivor is tremendous, but I try not to overreact to small-term data. Look at scoring. It was way down. Last week, the average scoring was around 50 points. I think it's a buy sign. Oh, bonus pick. Let's play the Grand Salami. Todd Wishneville like this one. Over on the salami on Sunday, whatever it is, I haven't seen it up yet. Scoring to be higher than expected on Sunday.
It was great until he took the shot at Wishneville. Other than that, it was great.
He said you suck at teasers.
Thank you, Steve Fezzik.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.